and they were treated like they were disposable humans.
Wow. Wow.
I have a friend that worked in the emergency room, and she said they would bring a lot of homeless in through the emergency room, drug them up, and send them to the floors.
Okay,
So,
wait a minute.
Yeah.
So let's
bag it up.
bag it up.
So the homeless will come through the emergency room, correct?
Yeah.
And then when they get into the emergency room, what would they do to them?
Well, they didn't really come on their own, though. This is a friend of mine that was also a travel nurse. She was working in the emergency room, and the police would bring them against their will. Maybe they were sleeping, drunk on the street. I don't know. She just said that they would bring them through, they drug them up, and these people would be like, I don't want that. Haldol was the drug of choice. They would drug them up, send them to the floors. That's why how do you stay quiet in this type of a situation?
You don't stay quiet.
Wow.
You have to open up your mouth because people like me, I knew something was going on.
Yeah.
I just couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
There was too many people dying. Why wasn't lives being saved? And I started hearing little stuff, little chatter.
Yeah.
A chatter coming from certain hospitals, certain protocols wasn't being followed.
And everybody kind of saw it.
Right.
You know, when you see it and you've been conditioned to be quiet or else, it's been this stigma that even though you see me killing somebody, you can't say nothing at all, or you're going to get fired.
Right.
And the protocols, if the proper protocols are not being followed, then blood is on somebody's hand.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a big portion of this is, so the agency that I went through was funded through FEMA. So when we first got there, I sat for 3 days. The people before me that were there sat 18 days with no assignment. Meanwhile, it's a pandemic, right? You know how much we were getting paid over there? $10,000 a week. Now, is that hush money? I don't know, but that $10,000 a week doesn't mean anything to me when they're essentially murdering people in these
And that's
hospitals.
$10,000 per person, right?
Well, I was making with this agency, along with every other 1,000 nurses that got pulled, into this pandemic, there, $10,000 a week per week to work.
Per person.
Even if you sat in the hotel.
Correct. I was making money every single day. There were some people there almost 20 days making $10,000 a week. So why is there this mismanagement of FEMA funds? Like, there's a lot of different aspects to this.
That's right. You are absolutely right. Listen, people were writing, telling us certain things. But they wanted to make it look like we were spreading misinformation, and we knew it wasn't misinformation. But let me get this straight. FEMA put nurses in hotels. But what was coming out of Governor Cuomo's mouth was that we don't have enough personnel. We need more nurses. We need more respiratory therapists. These people were already sitting up in a hotel. And what they did was, it sounds like, and you just let me know, that they make your environment so chaotic, meaning you could have 100 patients, but it was only 10 of you all treating them.
Yes.
Okay. So what
that
they
was intentional.
That was intentional.
Yeah.
So what they did was, even though we're in the midst of a pandemic, they manufactured the crisis in the hospital by overloading the nurses where they're swamped. But you have nurses sitting up in hotel rooms collecting money, government money, FEMA money, and it's not their fault.
Right.
It's the way that they did the system.
Yeah, and they also created the patients. They created the patients by
taking, admitting everybody and putting them in with COVID-19 patients.
Wow.
19 patients. So if this is not manufactured, then what is?